All right, time for Outwash Plains. So let's continue our story about Long Island. Excuse me. And from Staten Island right across is one moraine, and there's another one right down here. So these large hills of unsorted glacial sediments from the glacier basically bulldozing down this big old line. Since then, it's been raining for 10,000 years, and as rain hits it and washes off sediments, it flows down. And it would have been definitely a big thing while the glaciers were melting. There would have been water. There's just outrageous amounts of water that would have been flowing. Go to Green Lake State Park or Clark's Reservation State Park to see some of the results of that. There's glacial plunge pools from waterfalls that are absurdly deep on these little small lakes. But basically, this whole southern shore of Long Island, with the exception of barrier islands, these barrier islands are more put there by the ocean. But this inland of that, and certainly some of the sediment that creates that would have been an outwash plain, would have been sediment that's washed off of the moraines. Now I have an image of this on the note sheets. Whoops. There's a preview of your next job. This is out of the New York Times. Really nice infographic here. This dark line would be the moraine, and then all of this would be outwash. Now, there's a huge difference between what we would expect here because the outwash now is running water, and running water sorts out sediments. So, through a geologist's eyes, which if you get good at this, it's very easy to spot. Just like up at the Sterling Nature Center at those bluffs, if you got into any exposure here, and they say it's down here on Staten Island, if you go way down there, you would expect to see unsorted materials. However, when there's outwash, you would expect to see sorted materials. That's a big difference and one that the Regents does love to pick on. Here as well, not as pretty of an infographic for sure, but these little humps are meant to be the moraine, and then in here in yellow would be outwash, where that's all filled in with sorted sediment since then, and outwash because water would be flowing down south of the glacier since then. These were connected at one point, but just the immense amount of meltwater coming down what we'd eventually call the Hudson washed right out and created that gap, which is how you access Manhattan from the ocean. If you come up through here, that's your spot to get up to what we would eventually call Manhattan, that island that's right there. All right, so that's an outwash plain. Oh, it was on this stuff. Erosional or depositional? I'd say it's depositional. It's dropping off sediments. Flat area. I don't know. We could say that it's like coming off of a moraine or something like that, but I don't know. Let's just keep it generic. Filled with sorted sediments. South Shore, Long Island. Again, with the exception of those barrier islands, but that's okay. Characteristics. Again, I know I'm saying this over and over again. But yeah, that's the deal. Very, very, very sorted sediments. Okay. Time for good news. Esker came. Don't come up a lot. Let's try to like. Eskers are like these long, winding, sandy ridges. Like if you could picture like a water slide tube going through the glacier, and it tends to deposit these more sorted sands. I don't know. They don't come up on the Regents at all. We're not really going to worry about that. Cames can be similar. I don't know. They're basically sandy deposits that come from the glacier. Cirque, arêtes, and horn are the three things I mentioned. If you watch the first video, whiteface is very easy to spot examples of all three of those. Cirque is the bowl-shaped depression that gets carved out by a valley glacier. Arêtes are the ridges. You can drive up Whiteface. You got to hike the other high peaks, but this one you can drive. So this like ridge that separates out one cirque, and a ridge is the arêtes. And then the horn is the kind of pyramid-shaped peak at the top where they all meet. That's boom, boom, boom. That's quick. Run through those. So let's skip them this year, other than that quick mention. We'll come back for... We do got to do this one. Glacial Arête's a big one. Hanging Waterfalls is not really a big deal either. So really one more big one, and then you guys have done it, and I appreciate it so much.